to exercise. Um, and so I said, like, I just really like the feeling of being desired.
Yeah.
And not because I said it, but because this is a thing that women don't say, I know that it will come with a lot of pushback. And I know this because years ago, Aisha Curry was on Red Table Talk, and she was like,
Something that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then
You
like I
don't
begin
even
to
realize.
internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with
You're
me?
not.
Like
You're not looking.
what
You're not
like
looking.
You're not
You're
even.
not
But
looking.
I'm gonna tell you something else too. When your radar's turned off, because I dealt with that for years too. Like, and I was young, like you.
Yeah, I'm
like,
like, that's
oh my
not
God.
fair.
I mean,
because I don't want it, but it'd
Yeah.
be nice to know that like someone's looking.
I told him the other day, I don't want to be physically responsible for other humans today. Like, can I just go and be by myself and you take care of the kids and you take care of yourself and all this stuff? And I don't think people understand that. Like, I would just choose to be like, well, I'm not a mom this weekend. I'm not a wife this weekend. I'm just Bailey. Like, that would be nice.
Yes.
And I think marriage doesn't give you that option.
Within its traditional.
Traditional-wise, yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with
Exactly.
That. Yeah.
That pressure is just like always there. It's looming.
and I
Let me tell you about an app called Free Cash. Free Cash is the +1 app worldwide allowing users like yourself to make money off their phone for free. If you want to make $200 plus a week for free, download using my link in the description or the QR code on the screen. If you download now for free using my link or QR code, you will get a free $5 into your account for free. That's $5 for free, no requirements. So download Free Cash today to make easy, quick, and free money.
can understand
Yo.
why that's scary because, even for me to say that sentence out loud, and if people even are listening to this right now and being like, oh my God, like they have everything. What is their problem? I understand that because for the longest time when I had that feeling, I gave myself those comments. I was ashamed of myself because I told myself, you wouldn't feel this way if, like, how dare you? You have such a great thing at home. How dare you? How dare you? You shouldn't feel this way. And to your point, that shaming doesn't cure you, but it creates a different ripple effect. And the thing is like, as a coach, what I notice across the board is that the problem is very seldom the thought or the emotion. It is what happens next, right? Whereby, okay, I came back from Jamaica and I'm like, oh, actually, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being like desired or looked at. Like, I enjoyed being seen. The next part, you shouldn't do that. You're ungrateful. You're this, you're that. How dare you? That's the problem. It's not the thought, it's that I judge myself for that thought and I hate myself because of that thought. So then what's the ripple effect of that?
Now, I want you guys to understand something. When a woman uses her beauty to get what she wants out of life, she will reach a point where it's like, damn, I'm not getting a lot of attention. And then she will start feeling insecure about herself. This is why, as a man, you got to be very selective who you choose to make a wife. Here's the reality: beauty will always fade. That's just the reality. That's just a reality. So, as a woman gets older, who relies on her beauty to function, she becomes more insecure. And she relies more on validation and attention. That will make her feel good about herself, like, wow, I still got value. This is why the Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing, because wives are rare and birds are everywhere. Because the reality is simple, bro. When a woman relies on her beauty, right? When she thinks everything is about beauty, 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 she will reach a point in her life as she gets older, her looks will start to fade. Like this chick right here, for example, back in high school, she probably used to get a lot of attention. Now she's grown, she probably got kids, she's probably married. So now when she went to Jamaica and the guys were thirsting over her, she felt good. She felt valuable again. Women like that are the most insecure women out here. These are the women with the most lowest self-esteem. And as they age, it just gets worse because since back in high school, these are the women who relied on their looks. This is why what you do in your prime years of your life matters. And here's the thing, this is why these women are for the streets, because once you get married or get into a relationship, you shouldn't even be bothered of what outside men think about you. But when a woman relies on her beauty to function, she will always focus on male attention that's not yours. And the reality is, no matter how much you explain to this woman, babe, I love you, babe, I think you're beautiful, you're not enough. That's why you can't save a woman like this. You could only save a woman who truly loves herself and she understands that the flesh is weak. But when a woman feeds off the flesh, brother, she will always be for the streets. I'm just keeping it real.
I start to shrink myself. I start to I start to show up less. I start to pull myself back in hopes that that will cure me of this inconvenient thought or feeling that I have, versus what I tell clients all the time is just like practicing just noticing that thought, noticing that feeling. I noticed that when I went to Jamaica, I enjoyed the gaze of, it's even hard for me to say right now, but it's like I enjoyed the gaze of other men.
Yo, notice she got a ring on her finger.
Of it seemed
I'm just saying, notice while she's saying this, she got a ring on her finger. This is why I tell you all dudes all the time, bro. If a woman is on a podcast speaking about her relationships, she's who she is because relationships are sacred.
even hard for me to say right now, but it's like I enjoyed the gaze of other men. And then eventually over time, with just kind of noticing that it's there, it becomes less important in my life. Like it becomes this less important narrative because
I feel
I don't give it
valuable.
that much power by constantly shaming myself for it. And no different than like even having this conversation with Chris and saying that sentence to Chris was hard to do. And his immediate response is fear that, oh, now that's her driving force. Now that's what she, every time she leaves this house, that's what she's going out there for. And it's like it's not the
Yeah.
driving force. It's not the predominant feeling or the predominant emotion, but it's there.
It's a lovely detail.
It's there. And if it were my driving force, you'd see me show up a lot differently in this world. But that's not how you see me showing up in this world every day. But let's not pretend that we have entered into this contract to be life partners together, but pretend that this part of you is never going to exist again. I think that's I don't like that narrative. Especially because I know I married a handsome, smart man. I know that Chris is well dressed, he's charismatic, he's beautiful, he's got a smile that brings everybody in.
And he's still not enough. Think about that, bro. She's saying all this about her husband, and he's still not enough to make her feel fulfilled where she don't need outside male validation to feel good. She still desires it from other men, the gays and things like that. Bro, it's wild.
Do I think that there is a world where women don't desire him? And do I think that there is a world where he's like, I don't care about that. I don't want that. I actually want you to feel that. It's nice. Everyone likes compliments. Why is this such a hard thing? But I understand the response is fear-based. And like go on that guy's trip with Jared. Let me tell you, when he came back, the pep in that man's step, the pep in that man's step, best like marriage therapy that I could ever ask for because he remembered what it was like to receive that gaze. And that gaze was something that he hadn't gotten in that way since his football days, his glory days.
Wow. Talk about deflection. She flipped how she feels right to her husband. This is what she wants. She desires the gaze, the attention. She just came back from Jamaica, right? Now she flips it on her husband and she's saying, man, when he came back from that vacation, he was the best husband ever. And the whole time she's only saying that because she want to go on her girl's trip. And yo, just think about her husband watching this. How is he comprehending this? Bro, she's telling you exactly who she is. Your girl craves male attention. Your girl is weak to the flesh. And beauty fades every day. So regardless how much male attention she's craving, every day she's getting older, so it's going to get less and less. That's just the reality. But the problem is, as these women who rely on their beauty as they age, they become more desperate for attention. They become more desperate for validation. So they start chasing the feeling that they felt when they were younger and in their prime years. I'm telling you, bro, that's the worst type of woman to be with. I'm just keeping it real because I know those types. Those are called birds over here.
And it's still there for him. And to know, to be at this point in our lives, to be at the midpoint in our lives and to be able to have that, wow, that's still there for me. That is amazing. And I'm
Lady, grow up. You still chasing that? Grow up, yo. You probably a mother now. Focus on the kids. It's not about you anymore. Just like Steph's wife is the same shit. This is why I tell you all dudes, bro. All these women are the same, fellas. It's all the same. Understand something, bro. There's two different types of women in this world. There's birds, and then there are virtuous women. Virtuous women are extremely rare. So the majority of women are birds, and they all think the same. Trust that.
so glad that he got to experience what that was for him because only then could he really be like, I get it, Lauren.
Yes.
I I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Because I had that, I enjoyed it, but I still love you. And I still want to have a life with you. But that felt good. I'm not gonna lie.
That shit is
It's interesting from that standpoint
crazy.
too, because a lot of people talk to me about vulnerability.
wild.
Like, how do you share so much? Why do you share so much? Like, it's a lot to put yourself through. But the truth is, as much as there is a downside to saying these things aloud, because you could easily not,
Yeah, very much so.
there's actually no consequence for just saying nothing and just pretending you're just like everybody else or following the relational or the life escalator as it's been mapped out and then being like, yeah, this is working great for me. It wouldn't cost you anything to say nothing. But as much as there have been a downside to coming out and saying, no, no, I know I'm supposed to feel this way, but I actually feel that way. The upside has been so much greater. And I say that in comparison to when people ask me about Jared and Jared's exploration of that side of himself, like, well, how are you not jealous? Doesn't that make you jealous? Yes, it makes me jealous. But he also comes home and is like the best, most vibrant dad and a very excited husband. And I don't know, doesn't mind cleaning the gutters as much and is quick to make that appointment to get the hedges trimmed. I don't know. There's just an extra bit of libido
Something
that,
there.
yes, there is a downside to it because I am confronted with my own fears and my own questions I still have around my desirability, my ability to keep my family together, and questions of tomorrow. And those exist, but I know that those questions are futile in my heart of all hearts. So they're just pale in comparison to the upside of seeing my partner like lit up with life and knowing that there's infinite possibilities for them. Not ones that they probably will ever enact. And if they do, that's their choice. But just even that knowingness, I think just really is an understated perk
Yeah.
of letting yourself free up yourself once in a while when it makes sense, when it doesn't conflict with your greater priorities.
I will
Wow. This is what I mean when I say a bird always return back to the streets. See, the thing about women like this, they are leaving an opening, even though they are married. When a woman chases after validation or attention, she might get the attention from that one guy. Just one, fellas, yo, all it takes for your wife to get crack is just one look by the right guy. If that one guy look at her and he gazed into her soul, she's gone. Because here's the reality, bro. If your girl is willing to chase after attention from men to make herself feel good while she's married with you, you think it's gonna so you think it will stop there? So you think it wouldn't go further? See, a wise woman will cut that off, right? She's not even looking for it because she know it will create an opening. It could welcome in somebody into the marriage. So a smart woman wouldn't even try to engage in that because she would be weak to the flesh. But a bird will always keep an opening. Know that.
I would agree and disagree that there's no cost to saying nothing. There is a cost to saying nothing. There is a cost to pretending that you're something that you feel some way that you don't.
Shit is
I
crazy.
just watch that eat away at a lot of people. So I just think that the courage to say things,
Let me
and to
correct,
just
there's no social cost,
no social cost. Yes.
but there's
Yeah. There's self.
self-sacrifice.
There's a lot of self cost. But yes, you can protect yourself from the opinions of others all day long. And that is, but again, you kind of choose your heart, right?
And you talked about this, how the pop of color in your life,
Yes.
how sometimes after you've done the things and society says, okay, well, you're done doing the things, so you're done wanting. Some people are still kind of left with this craving that they have nowhere to go, no justifiable place to go, where they just still desire a little pop of color, an unexpected glance, a touch that was firmer than you expected.
I love feeling because you do, you get into that middle
Yo,
age
this is
malaise.
crazy, bro.
It's kind of how I've been referring to it, where you just sort of you're going through the motions to just keep everything stable and steady. And I watch relationships fall apart because people don't know. It's like, and I think I even said this to Chris, I'm like, I don't want for us to feel like we ever need to break up to become the better versions of ourselves, because that's what people are doing. People are, they're kind of getting through that stage of having kids are going off, and then they're like, okay, well, now let's go be the better versions of ourselves, but like we can't be those things together. Like I want to find ways for us to be our whole selves here. I want to find us ways for us to be the better versions of ourselves here. And maybe that means that we need to accept parts of ourselves, parts of each other that were deemed as inconvenient before because there was too much threat, like I can't afford for you to be thinking this way because we have small kids, or we've got bills to pay, we've got this, like our situation, our relationship, our surroundings are evolving. Like the way that we operate within here, the way that we see each other within here should evolve with that too. And they're not always easy. They're not easy conversations. It's not like, yeah, great idea. Like this is these are because it's uncomfortable, because there's so much fear of like, well, now that you think this way, Lauren, now that you're feeling yourself, what's this going to mean for me? What's this going to mean for our relationship? Versus like finding like small ways, again, it doesn't need to go full out, but even finding small ways to be like, look, I can be fully expressed and I can still be here. And I think even going to Caravana last year, that was a big moment because there was that fear, especially on the heels of having those kinds of conversations, where
Especially in light of the costume.
especially in light of the costume. Those costumes were, yeah, we weren't even comfortable with those costumes. And I remember,
Bro, Shorty is in Caribana, right? That's like a carnival in Toronto. So she's out there. She got on a costume half naked, obviously, with a homegirl. Bro, what you think your wife is doing in carnival in Canada, in Caribana? You think she's just there having a good time? Bro, she's half naked and she's drinking. She's dancing on a bunch of half naked men out there. You think nobody is going to catch her eye? And you think, man, look, bro. Look, all I'm saying is this, fellas. This is all I'm saying right here, bro. If you're comfortable with your wife on a podcast speaking about your relationship, just understand that you are in an open relationship. Your relationship is not sacred. Your wife is weak to the flesh. She's in life chasing vanity. Beauty will always fade. A strong woman will know how to love herself without needing male attention or validation. A low self-esteem, insecure woman will always require attention in order to feel good. So as men, know your personnel, bro. But just remember, it's not wise to wife up a woman who relies on her beauty to feel good about herself. Because when it comes to a woman's beauty, she got a very small window to make the best out of life if she's relying on her beauty. And that's her prime years, when she's 18 to 25. Usually when women reach 26, 27 and up or whatever, that's when they usually have kids and stuff like that. So their beauty will fade a little bit because based on having kids and aging, they're not going to look like they were looking in their prime years. But some women can't stand the fact that their beauty is fading, and then they become very desperate, bro. They tap into a very desperate mindset, like Curry's wife. That's what that was. As she started having those kids, she were relying on male attention to feel good about herself. So I just want you guys to be aware of this and be careful out here. Be careful who you choose to wife up, because if you wife up a woman, again, a woman who is chasing beauty, that shit is going to fade away, fellas. Eventually, that shit will fade away. And keep in mind, those are the most insecure women out here. Fellas, be wise out here, man, for real. This is what you imagine him being in a hospital trying to deal with and the baby's coming out. Fellas, again, focus on yourself. That's what it is.